Welcome back to A Better Way of Earning. I am your host, Dr. Michelle S. Thomas. When we started this first season, we began with a question. What does earning actually look like today? Not what we were taught, not what we were told to expect, but what is real. And over the course of these conversations, we've explored how success is changing, how income is evolving, how mindset shapes decision making, how global systems influence opportunity, how emotions impact earning, how fear affects clarity, and how skills and visibility create access. And now we will bring it all together because understanding is so powerful, but structure is what sustains you. Let's begin this with the simple truth. Earning without structure leads to inconsistency, and inconsistency creates instability. For many people, earning today looks like one primary income, occasional opportunities, reactive decisions based on circumstances. But sustainable earning requires something different. It requires intentional design. Let's explore what I call the income system framework. Think of your earning like a system, not a single stream. A sustainable income system may include one, primary income, your main source of stability. Two, secondary or flexible income. That includes consulting, freelance work, or project based opportunities. And let me just be clear when I talk about consulting, freelance work, or project based opportunities, these don't have to be huge projects. You can come up with very small, sustainable projects that can deliver small increments amount of steady income coming in to support the primary income that we discussed in step one. Step three, investment growth. Assets that grow over time through consistency. And within this space, this is where you do a lot of research. And that doesn't mean that because someone on a social platform or online has suggested the 10 best ways in 2026 to make $1 million. That's not what I'm talking about. Again, that's a part of information overload. You need to evaluate your assets, your time, and your capacity. So, what does that mean when it comes down to investment? You may not be the next real estate investment broker. You may not be the next business builder, but there's something that you do consistently, something that you enjoy, something that you believe in, that you can invest in, and know that this asset will grow over time through consistently contributing into said asset. Number four, skill development, the foundation that allows all of the above to evolve. Each one of those four layers serves a purpose, and together they create resilience. The current reality is today's professionals are no longer relying on one path. They are combining income streams, leveraging digital platforms, building visibility, adapting to market shifts, not because they have to, but because the system has changed. Earning is no longer just about where do I work? It's about how do I build something that works for me? That is the shift. So I want you to ask yourself something honestly. Am I earning or am I building a system that allows me to earn consistently, intentionally, and sustainably? Because those are two very different approaches. I want you to really evaluate life. There's one thing that I learned from the loss of my son. And although we know this, it it until an event happens that really brings it to the forefront, it brought the clarity to me that we have one shot at this life. One shot, my friend. There's no moment after you pass away that you get to restart and redo the lessons that you've learned. So, understanding that there's one shot at life, that you want to make sure that you are no longer stuck in the hamster cycle of, I need to have this job for me to work long hours in, spend all of my time, miss every opportunity for my family, for my friends, for my own personal development because I'm chasing a check. We are past those times. We have, throughout this podcast, discussed platforms and access and information that you now can source from to help yourself to build a better way of earning for your lifestyle. Any suggestions that I've given throughout any episode of the podcast is just to bring awareness to you. The more that you know, the more that you're aware of what's out there, the better you are on making the decisions on what you want to do. Now, this by no means tells anyone to go in right after listening to this podcast and go and slap your boss and quit your job. That is not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is build a plan. If you're happy in the one job and the one income and life works for you, then that's great. But that no longer means that that choice is the right choice for everyone. Far too often I see, especially parents, trying to impose or instill their process onto the next generation. And when the next generation kind of pushes back or doesn't agree, then you feel offended. Knowing that with each era and evolution of technology, access, and new ways to do things, the more educated and aware that you are, the better that you can not only understand their pathway, but you can help them to strategically navigate it through your knowledge, your experience, your expertise. We have to find a different way and a better way to discuss these hard topics with our spouses, with our partners, with our kids, with our families about the decisions that we're making. We've talked about the episode of being information overload and decision frozen. And sometimes that comes not just from all the information that you have access to online, but it also comes from the pressure of trying to make everyone around you approve and happy with the decisions that you make. That brings me to a portion of this conversation that may be a little uncomfortable for people, but every shift and decision that you make may not need to be shared openly in the beginning with everyone until you have developed your plan. Because it's very easy in your infantile stages of change and development to jump off of that path or change courses if very influential people in your life let you know that they either don't approve or that this pathway is going to be detrimental to you. This doesn't mean that you don't take advice. It doesn't mean that you don't listen to people who have walked down those pathways. But even within this podcast, your role as a listener is to take the information, dissect it out, and pull out the parts and the pieces that works for your stage of earning. Information that is given today, you may feel something different about it 5 years from now. You may be in a different circumstance. So always make sure that you are very clear on where you are in your finances, in your investments, in your position for growth and expansion. Be clear on where you are. Dreaming about a better life, a better earning, etc., are great things. It makes us feel better. It delivers that dopamine. But dreaming is not a plan. Evaluate where you are. And for my couples out there, this is one of the most challenging process to do when you are in a relationship, because although we are talking about your life, your decision directly impacts someone else's life. So let's be very conscious and about these conversations. But most conversations go over better when there is a plan. Plan prevents you from making emotional reactions or decisions, but also gives you the words and the framework to be able to articulate to the stakeholders that will become a part of that plan. I want you to take a moment. I want you to think back where you were when you started this season, the questions that you have, the uncertainty you might have felt, the assumptions that you were holding on to. And now think about what you understand today. You've gained awareness, you've gained perspective, and more importantly, you've gained the power of choice. This season for me was never about giving you all of the answers. It was about helping you to ask better questions, because better questions lead to better decisions. And back when I'm talking about the stakeholders and the partners and all of that, if you are prepared to present your framework, then you also must prepare for questions and feedback. There are times that we get excited about decisions that we're making and things that we want to do. And when someone asks questions or sounds like they're not supportive of it, we immediately become defensive and feel attacked. But sometimes questions can help you better source through some of the unknowns in the plan. Sometimes those questions can bring awareness to things that may come around corners that you haven't thought about. Oftentimes, the person that you're talking to that's asking these questions are asking questions out of concern, care, and love for you. So, questions are not the bad thing, but we also still have to own our space even when being questioned. The most powerful response that anyone can ever give is, I do not know right now. Ask that person, let that person know that this is something that I haven't considered, but give me time and space to go back, review, and see if this is even applicable. Because again, it is about you gaining control over your choices. And for that person, that partner, that friend, parent, even child, that someone is bringing you their next big idea or their next big concept, find security within your own self to have the strength to listen to them first. Not every plan presented needs immediate feedback. If this is not something that is going to detrimentally impact their health, their well being, their life, sometimes let them have the space to enjoy the plan. Sometimes you might be surprised because there are aspects of them that you may not be aware of, that you may think that they cannot be successful at this, but they actually will be. Some of the most powerful entrepreneurs, leaders of our times were people that were discounted, overlooked, and counted out because of whatever bias someone had for them. So let's not stifle each other's creativity, our ability to make decisions, to make plans, and actually even to fail at something. Sometimes the best recovery system for a failed plan is to not be beat up. The world is constantly changing. The way we work is evolving. The systems we've relied on are shifting. But within that change, there is opportunity. Not for those who react the fastest, but for those who understand deeply and move with intention. If you've been listening, reflecting, and applying, even in small ways, then you're already moving differently. And that, my friends, matters. You don't need to rush. You don't need to panic. And you don't need to have everything figured out. But you do need to stay aware. You do need to stay intentional. And you do need to remain in ownership of your choices. If you want to continue this journey, you can always connect with us across the A Better Way of Earning ecosystem. After this season of the podcast, we will then roll into the launch of our A Better Way of Earning talk show season, where we are traveling around the globe and finding experts, professionals, entrepreneurs, and just everyday people to talk about what earning looks like for them, how their concept of success has evolved over time. Or if they're just starting out, being on this talk show will give you the ability to follow their journey and grow with them. You can also find deeper insights within the Job Hunt Chronicles, and you also have the ability build your presence within the Ascent Global Marketplace, where the future of hiring is not applying, is being discovered. Because this is not just a podcast, this is a shift. And shifts create new possibilities. Until next season, stay informed, stay intentional, and always remain in ownership of your choice. This first season has been amazing for me. It has been an honor to be your host. It has been an honor to explore these different topics. I love the feedback and all the other insights and suggestions that has come from the new phenomenal people that I've had the opportunity to meet through this podcast and through the upcoming talk show. Stay tuned, stay connected, but also connect with us, give us feedback, give us suggestions of what you want to hear so that we can continue to build the podcast, the conversations that matter the most to you. Let's take a quick look into season 2 of A Better Way of Earning. We've spent season 1 understanding how earning is challenging, the systems, the shifts, the decisions that shape opportunity. But now it's time to go deeper because awareness is powerful, but access changes everything. In season 2 of A Better Way of Earning, we're stepping inside the industries shaping today's economy, breaking down how they actually operate, how money flows within them, what roles drive real value, and how you can position yourself to enter intentionally. From emerging digital sectors to evolving traditional industries, we are moving beyond theory, my friends, into true opportunity because the question is no longer what is happening in the workforce. It is where do I fit and how do I get there? Season 2 starts June 17th, 2026. In the meantime, share this podcast with friends, coworkers, families so that they can catch up on season 1, take time up to go over the episodes again and apply the information provided in season 1. Until next season, my friends, I am signing off and I look forward to starting this up again June 16th, 2026, and season 2. Take care.